Hello, I'm Grace, the creator of Mystic Mondays, and welcome to this week's Mysticscopes, the week of June 12th, 2023. Venus just entered Leo on June 5th and will station here until October 8th. I see Leo as a sign of expressing one's true, authentic self. So Leo in Venus can be activating that place inside of you that wants to attract from a place of being your most authentic self. No walls, no masks, just you being you. It's also a sign of drama and flair. So doing the most. Going for that bold outfit, being seen for all the glitter and glamour. This is also about being courageous and taking risks. Getting outside your comfort zone and attracting from a place of fearlessness. Notice how you feel when you magnetize from that place of fullness rather than fear. It's also a great time to think about what you want to attract and reflect on that. What qualities in somebody else are you attracted to? And how can you cultivate those qualities in yourself? Please like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you're listening to the podcast, to leave a review. If you haven't checked out the latest podcast interview with guest Kirah Tabourn, we talk about the forecast of the summer, how to learn astrology, and so much more. Here's a clip from the episode.
I'm a big Venus girl. I think most devoted to Venus in terms of the deities or planets that I connect to the most. So I'm a big Venus girl, and I have done things in the past, like on Fridays, you wear green for Venus. I also just like to look cuter on Fridays for Venus, because Venus is the planet of love and beauty. There's also, every planet has an Orphic hymn, so I often will recite the Orphic hymn to Venus, just on Venus Day, or Venus Hour. There's planetary hours as well. Light a candle, beautify myself basically on Venus days and hours. You can give offerings to planets too. I think the easiest way is to do their planetary day, honor that planet on their day.
If you're interested in learning more about astrology terms, you can pick up the Astro Alignment Reference Guide, where all 80 terms are listed in cheat sheet format. Use this guide to learn astrology terms and get familiar with astro lingo. Links will be in the show notes. For this week's collective card reading, I'll be using the Guided by Spirit Oracle card deck by Asia Dashur, who is our next podcast guest. I'm asking the cards and spirit to reveal what would be the best card for the collective this week. What does the collective need to know? So 2 cards actually popped out, which is Bernard Earth and Isabella Air. And I actually feel like that is pretty significant with all of the news about the wildfire air and having air quality be an issue nowadays, especially because I'm on the East Coast. So we've got these 2 cards, and I feel like that ties into current events. So I'm going to pull up Asia's guidebook and see what she wrote for the description of these cards. And this artwork is by her husband, Justin, and they collaborated on this deck together. Wow, I flipped to that page right away. Bernard Earth. I relish the heavy lifting. I am a worker of the fields who tills the soil of life, face turned up to the sun in gratitude. I love to water your roots as I pull out your weeds. I meet each task with vigor and with love. I offer reason and direction to the dreams you have written high in the sky. I ask for patterns and structure so that ideas can prevail. How do you nurture your beautiful seeds? How do you focus now to build what has yet to be? So I feel like Earth as an element is very pragmatic and also very grounded. And so I feel like this card is really about setting up those structures so that you can feel grounded in your environment and set up structures so that you feel more free in your life. I think it's also about paying homage to your roots, so your ancestry, but also giving respect to yourself as an individual and how you'd like to plant your roots perhaps in a different way and just honor your own individuality. Isabella Eyre says, I am the energy of surrender, the trust that envelops you once stepping into the unknown, eyes closed in fear and resignation. I wish for you to move as I do, without apprehension, without resistance. I help you dance through changes the wind brings to your door. Life can carry you to places never imagined. Simply release expectations and the rule of should. Let go. How can you surrender? So I feel like this card is very much speaking about control and letting go of control so that you can experience life in all of its wondrous imperfection. And part of that is surrender. And how can you tap more into surrender? And part of that is leaning into this divine feminine energy of receptivity, because there's the protective energy of divine masculine, of being able to provide, which I feel like so many of us are able to do so well because that's just how we've been trained societally. But there's also this receptivity and just allowing yourself to trust that everything is going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to work out, and letting go of should, so letting go of how you think something is supposed to be versus leaning into how you feel. So part of this is doing body scans, tapping into your feelings, and that your feelings are valid in the process of you figuring out exactly what you want to do. It's also about being flexible with change and being adaptable to your environment, because everything at some point changes. Even your relationship to yourself can change. And so deepening this quality of acceptance that change is inevitable, I feel like is something that we're all tapping into for ourselves. And even giving ourselves the permission to grow and change is huge. So what are the ways that you have changed, and how can you honor this change within yourself? So that is it for this week's collective cards reading, since we did 2 this week. If you enjoyed this collective card reading, please leave a review and comment, as that would be greatly supportive for this channel. All right, so on to the Mysticscopes. Before we get started, I do want to explain how this works. I'll be pulling 1 card for each zodiac sign from the Mystic Mondays decks. You can click on the timestamp below for your sign. It's recommended that you check out your sun, moon, and rising sign. Now let's get into it. Hello, Aries. This week you've got the Knight of Pentacles from the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck. So the Knight of Pentacles is all about dedication and taking it slow. So definitely practice patience during this week and really enjoy the ritual of doing something. It's all about taking those little steps to get to the big destination that you've been working towards. And also about making commitments and being responsible and aligning yourself to the integrity of your word. So how willing are you to stick to what you say you're going to do? You'll see that once you dedicate yourself, that a lot will come into fruition if you continue to commit. If this reading resonated with you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Taurus. This week you've got the Selenite card from the Mystic Mondays Crystal Grid deck. Selenite is all about cleansing. So what can you cleanse out of your life and offer protection for the parts of yourself that you want to keep? Selenite is all about opening up the channels of communication between yourself and your spiritual team. So that can look like your guides, your ancestors, your higher self, and whoever wants to be present for you at this time. And sometimes they are already sending us messages, whether it's through synchronicities or signs that we might see outside, like angel numbers. And sometimes we're not able to fully decipher that message. So when those messages come in, look to see how you can enhance your level of interpretation of receiving these messages and understanding what they mean. With selenite, it can enhance clarity and your ability to comprehend these complicated messages and make it feel simple. With that being said, if there's any area of your life that needs more clarity and simplicity, you can use the energy of selenite to cut through the noise and to simplify those areas of life. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Gemini. This week, you've got the Fish card from the Mystic Mondays Cosmic Creatures deck. The fish can swim into our subconscious when we are ready to bring our subconscious to the surface. So just pay attention to what's coming up for you at this time. This can also speak to fertility and health. And if you listened to the Empress episode, we did talk about the womb center and how that can be a center for your creativity. So what are you willing to dive into and what do you want to birth into this world? Now, the womb center is not just feminine. This can also speak to both genders and how we want to cultivate our own creativity. So ask yourself, what do you want to give life to? What do you want to pay attention to? And how can you bring up your vibrant levels of health in these areas? This is all about nurturing oneself. And since the fish swims in water, also paying attention to what emotions come up during this time. This is absolutely a sign to get to know your subconscious, to understand what your soul is seeking in this moment, and to cultivate that relationship with yourself so that you can nurture yourself during these times. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Cancer. This week, you've got the third house card from the Mystic Mondays Astro Alignment deck. The third house is all about communication and your local community. It can even extend out into transportation and short trips. So this is a great week to tap into your local community and see what's going on in your neighborhood. How can you get more involved or even get to know your neighbors a little bit more? By extending yourself in your immediate community, this can overall just help you feel more comfortable with your surroundings and even feel more at home. This is also a great card to cultivate your circles. So cultivating your communities and the communities that you're already in, and also taking a peek at what's going on in other communities. So if there are other things that you would like to get involved in, so hobbies, or group sports, or just things that you would want to get involved in, but maybe haven't quite had the time or wanted to make that commitment just yet. So this is a great time to also just pique those curiosities that are popping up and take action towards the ones that are really lighting you up and really giving you signs that this is something that you want to involve yourself in. You never know who you can meet and what experiences by involving yourself in these groups can give you. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Leo. This week, you've got the Six of Swords from the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck. So this is a time of migration and letting go so that you can move forward into new land unencumbered by any baggage. This is definitely a time of change and transition. So while you are in this phase of transition, it's important to ground yourself since it can feel like you're floating adrift in this new phase of life or in the in-between before you settle into a new space and new environment. So how can you practice some grounding while you are in this stage of transition? One way is connecting more with nature and planting both feet on the ground and just letting yourself absorb the energy of the space. This is an exciting and possibly an unsettling time for you, but you'll find that you'll grow in ways that you could have never expected to by being in a new environment and allowing yourself to explore new land. This gives you new perspective, new opportunities, and a new way to expand the fullest expression of yourself. If this reading resonated with you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Virgo. This week you've got Tiger's Eye from the Mystic Mondays Crystal Grid deck. Tiger's Eye is all about courage, optimism, and power. So how can you activate this courageous part of you that wants to step out into the world as your most empowered self? What does power mean to you, and what does power look like? Tiger's Eye is a great crystal to work with if you are experiencing any fear or self-doubt that you are on your path to unfolding the biggest and brightest version of yourself. Sometimes courage can often activate the fear, and don't be scared if this happens. Tiger's Eye is also asking you to activate the warrior part of yourself, the part of yourself that wants to bravely step into action and embrace your confidence, your strength, and your willingness to put yourself out there in a big way. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Libra. This week you've got the Starfish card from the Mystic Mondays Cosmic Creatures deck. The starfish is a great omen because it twinkles luck, opportunity, and magnifies your shine. It's all about embracing your own unique qualities and accepting that you are special and that you deserve a place to shine as bright as you want in this world, in this universe. So what special gifts are you ready to share with the world? And how can you set yourself apart from all the competition? This is also a great card to reflect on if you've ever felt misunderstood or felt like you didn't belong anywhere, because you are not alone in that experience. And oftentimes what we feel misunderstood for is often our superpower. So the more you share yourself and your unique gifts, the more that you attract like-minded people and like-minded souls into your life. So don't be afraid to shine and keep going. There's a certain courage in sharing your most authentic self. And so this is a great sign of affirmation that by continuing to share those parts of yourself, the more that you are able to extend that energy outward and to attract more of what you want in your own life. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Scorpio. This week you've got Uranus from the Mystic Mondays Astro Alignment deck. So Uranus can bring a bit of eccentricity and a flair for revolution in your life. You might be getting downloads during this time that can seem like they come out of nowhere. So this is definitely a time to lean into the parts of yourself that feel eccentric and inventive, and really listen to the ideas that come in this week, because they might be ideas that can completely change your life. So while this energy of Uranus can feel abrupt, it can also feel like divine timing for when these ideas are meant to come to you so that you can carry them forth. So maybe you didn't have the tools before and you do now, or more knowledge or more wisdom to be able to carry these ideas through. So think of yourself as a tuning fork and let yourself channel whatever information needs to come through, because the ideas that come to you for a reason. But the difference is if you choose to act on them or not. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Sagittarius. This week you've got 8 of Pentacles from the Mystic Mondays Tarot deck. The 8 of Pentacles is all about grit and craftsmanship and really working on your skills to up-level them into a place of mastery. And that does take dedication, hard work, and require a certain level of commitment from you. Most of all, it's important to feel passionate about what you're doing and steadily working on those skills so that you do grow into a place of mastery. Ultimately, all of this time and effort will not be to waste and will be well worth it in the end. So keep chugging, keep moving along, and believe in yourself even when times can feel challenging. The more you apply yourself and the more effort that you put in, the more rewards you'll see come into fruition. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Capricorn. This week you've got the Malachite card from the Mystic Mondays Crystal Grid deck. Malachite is all about transformation, and for that transformation to take place, sometimes you have to cleanse the trauma that is blocking you from moving forward. So Malachite is a really great crystal to channel during this time and to work with. Malachite is also a great crystal to take emotional responsibility for your experience. So while you're cleansing the emotional body of trauma, you can also take into account your part that you played in whatever unfolded in your life that is causing you frustration or strife or stress, but just noticing how much of that is controlling your energy and how much energy you've put into these situations. And once you take accountability for yourself, you'll start to see the patterns that you've been involved in and how you can step out of those patterns. Allow yourself to unlock any mysteries that seem unsolvable, and to also take a step back from things that just aren't serving this new version of yourself anymore. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Aquarius. This week you've got the Coral card from the Mystic Mondays Cosmic Creatures deck. And the Coral card is all about staying grounded in your emotions, even if there's a lot going on around you. This is about rooting yourself in the ocean. And so there can be a lot swirling around you, but most of all, to stay centered in the core of who you are and the core of your values. By doing this, you are strengthening your sense of self, so that no matter what comes at you, whether it's different people's opinions or different circumstances that are pulling at your attention, you know that you can always rely on your foundation of your values and your integrity to stay true to who you are, even if there are a lot of things happening around you at the time. Coral is also a great card to detach from situations that do not serve you. So if you feel like you're getting pulled into any drama or anything that is draining your energy, you can respectfully place boundaries and detach and just step into another direction that doesn't feel so draining. Ultimately, you are building a higher awareness for your own needs by understanding when to detach and when to stay engaged. If this reading resonated for you, leave a comment and let me know. Hello, Pisces. This week you've got the Pisces card from the Mystic Mondays Astro Alignment deck. Obviously, since this is your sign, you're probably familiar with what Pisces means, but you're leaning into it even more so this week. So tap into that dreamy, imaginative, and visionary side of you, and just notice if there's anything that you might be avoiding at this time. It's really about tapping into your talents and that side of you that is able to create fantasy worlds. So what fantasy world do you want to live in this week, and how can you cultivate more of that? Can you invite people into this imagination of yours, and how are you communicating that to others? Or maybe this is just a space for you this week, for you to retreat in and to have a secret to yourself. Ultimately, this Pisces energy is really for you to tap into yourself even more and to give yourself permission to dream. Once you connect to this divine part of yourself, you're able to tap in more easily to messages that are waiting for you. So tune into yourself and see what appears. If this reading resonated with you, leave a comment and let me know. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's Mysticscopes. Keep subscribed, follow along on social media, and share this with your friends. Sending you so much grace today and every day. Until next time.